Hi, it's Phil from Spokes Education, and in this mini-series we're doing on well-being. This last one I'm going to talk a little bit around purpose. So previously I talked about the kind of security and time, and they're kind of tangible, and they're the things that you can kind of, are pretty universal across the board. There's obviously some specific things in there around security and individuals, but generally speaking, it's a pretty blanket thing. When we talk about purpose, it's a little bit more individualized for each team member. So, it's something I've always struggled with. That's one of my biggest struggles in life is finding purpose. And that's why I do some of the things that I do, whether that is, these kind of videos to help other people, whether that is, running an organization and hiring people and trying to help them develop, or whether that's being a school governor, whatever it is I do. I do those things to find a little bit sense of purpose. And we all have our own idea of what that purpose is. For a lot of you, it may be family, friends, children, it may be career, it may be, going on holidays, it may be, doing good things. There's lots of different kind of ideas around what fulfills somebody's purpose. So, like I said, this becomes a little bit more individualized for each individual. However, there are some kind of general kind of umbrella things that we can look at. And when I think about purpose, I think about, what can we do as an organisation, again, to fulfil someone's purpose. Simple things up front, things you can do is appreciation and recognition. Again, if people are appreciated and feel recognised, then again, they will give them a sense of purpose of what they're doing. Another important thing is to let them know why they're doing it. Again, if someone doesn't understand why they're doing something or what the point is, then again, that kind of sense of purpose is going to drop. So just a bit of communication. This is why we're doing it. This is this is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to do it. And, lots of thank yous and recognition and appreciation of the work and the time that people are giving to you. And we do things like, we have like an internal testimonial kind of system where people could kind of say nice things about their colleagues, or even about suppliers, and about even about clients as well. And we have like this kind of feedback loop where that gets fed back into the team, and obviously encourage people to say it directly to people, but we also have that, so it's not always just coming from me, and it's not always me just saying thank you. It's kind of giving that broader scope for people to say thank you to their peers as well, and also create that sense of positivity within the team and the wider team. Like I say, that extends out to clients and suppliers as well. So that's something you could do quite easily. Another thing that's relatively easy to do, but also can be quite difficult, is give people opportunity and responsibility. Now, if you give somebody responsibility, again, it gives them, ownership of something. It gives them, they're going to feel value. They're going to feel important. They're going to feel like, oh, actually, what I'm doing, I'm adding value. And again, by giving them that sense, that is, again, that's one of the biggest reasons, that opportunity and responsibility will be one of the biggest reasons why people will leave an organisation. If they don't feel they're getting opportunities to develop, if they don't feel they're progressing, if they don't feel they're going anywhere. And the only way you can get someone to progress is by giving them additional responsibility, giving them additional opportunities to prove what they can do. And it's not always easy. It's really difficult. And the bigger the team gets, the harder it gets in a way. It gets easier in one sense because there is kind of more to do, but it gets harder in another way because you're juggling so many different people, and you may have 3 people wanting to do the same thing, but you've only got one opportunity, and it's like, who do you give that to and how do you work that? So it does become quite difficult. But, again, it can be done in a sensible way. And again, it just takes a bit of thought and looking at the team and kind of going, okay, who's the right person for this at this particular time? And again, if someone's going to think, I wish I had that opportunity, just explain to them why that isn't, and reassure them and kind of go, next time it's coming to you, whatever it is. Don't, start to kind of isolate people by, always having your favourites and kind of giving them all the opportunities. Try and give that, but give it in a sustainable and sensible way that also doesn't impact the business. Don't give responsibility to someone because you feel like they deserve a chance at something if you know that they can't fulfil that. Work them gradually up towards it. And again, what we do is we take those kind of baby steps, and we're always looking at tiny little things. I'm always thinking in my head, what can we do to kind of work them up to that point? And sometimes, quite often people don't even realise we're doing it, and people don't realise, what the point of that is. And again, until you explain, okay, this is why we're doing this, and this is why, this little thing doesn't seem that relevant, but actually it's a little stepping stone. So again, that kind of communication is quite important as well. So yeah, responsibility and opportunity. The other thing that we think is really, really important as well as an organisation is, again, around kind of purpose, is making sure that you build good relationships, good connections. You know, again, it's something I struggle with, is that kind of connecting with people. And it's something I'm trying to encourage myself to do, but encourage other people to do. And that doesn't mean, you know, you have to go and have heart-to-hearts with people, but it's just, you know, talking to people on a human level, being human, and again, being around humans and connecting with humans is one of the best things you can do for your mental well-being. And feeling connected to somebody is something that, you know, will help with that. So I kind of try and encourage people, you know, don't expect to be best friends, but just kind of go, you know what, come into work and feel like, you know, you're part of something. You're, you know, feel like you can have conversations, feel like you can have a laugh, feel like you can have a chat, and all those kind of things. So that for me is a small thing, again, which is quite easy to do. And again, you can facilitate that. You know, we do kind of bi-weekly games where people can get together and we do have a bit of fun. You know, we're starting to do more social stuff and trying to, you know, include people in different things, and again, making it inclusive. So even if people aren't in the office, we're trying to do things that, you know, include people remotely as well. And then the last thing you can do as well is you look at kind of, like I say, tailor it even further to the individual to sort of say, you know, what is it that you are lacking in your life, and what is there anything that we can do to help that? So this is where kind of these kind of extra curricular stuff that we do, essentially, or the extra kind of volunteer stuff comes into play. So again, we've got a lot of people who've worked previously in things like education and similar fields. And we know that, you know, if you're a teacher, for example, it's a really, really good example. You know, if we're looking to actively hire teachers or ex-teachers, and we know one of the things that a teacher is going to miss in their life, but also as a sense of purpose, is that ability to impact the life of a child or children. And that's a hard transition to make, and a lot of teachers will struggle with that transition away because that's one of the things that they're going to miss in their life, and that has to get filled up with something else. Now again, you can't do everything, but what you can do is those little things. So again, you know, we go and work with schools, we kind of, you know, work with young people, and we do those kind of little activities which again allow us to still have that sense of, you know, we're still having an impact, and we're still having that, you know, little bit of something, we're getting that little kind of thing that we need to fulfill our purpose. And again, like I said, that's going to be different for different people, but again, think about that individual that's there, think about, you know, what it is that, you know, they may want and they may need in their life. And like I said, you know, if you've got someone that, you know, they get a lot of purpose from seeing family, allow them and encourage them to see their family, even if it's in work time, or, you know, encourage them and support them if they want some time off because they've got an opportunity to go and see a family member that they haven't seen for a while, but, you know, it's not the convenient time for the business. You know, make it happen, and allow them and you know, work around it and find solutions for that kind of thing. They're the important things in life. You know, they're the things that, you know, people are going to remember, and it's important that you think about the people first and to think about, you know, what's important to them. Work is the least, you know, is probably the least of most people's worries, and it's there to kind of support their living and support a lot of their things in their life, but it can also enhance if you do the right things. So anyway, that's what we do. Hopefully that these videos have been useful and give you some things to think about. Like I said, you know, I can talk about specific things that we do in, you know, in more detail if anyone's interested. I didn't want to kind of get bogged down with lots of specifics, just give you more kind of broad brush overview. Like I said, we don't always get it right. We try our best, and I think, you know, that's all you can do. And just kind of think about that. It's what I spend most of my day thinking about, is how can I make people's lives better and happier. That's my job now, and that's what I spend my time doing. And like I say, it's hard, it's not easy, but it's well worth it. And like I said, it gives me my sense of purpose too. So anyway, thanks for listening. As always, feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, take care.